Mom, it's no longer Mother's Day. I don't have to do what you tell me anymore. Today is May 10th. And I'm Derek O'Shea, and this is the Derek O'Shea Show. Elon Musk hosted SNL on Saturday as many conservatives piled on about how much they hate the episode, and liberals pretended they liked the episode, and I enjoyed most of it. It was the first time I've laughed at I watch the SNL all the time, even though I hate it, even though I think it's garbage. And I laughed. It was the first time I've laughed that hard since Eddie Murphy last hosted, and that's saying a lot. You can fight me. I don't care. I just think Elon is such a weird character. He's like watching if somebody was made up as a robot who turned AI and is trying to figure out how to speak to humans, and that makes me laugh. So every time he talked, I laughed because it's so weird and so awkward and nothing makes sense. And he's just such a weird character. I don't care. So I laughed. And I also wanted to figure out which SNL cast member did not want to have anything to do with Elon Musk and all his disastrous things like Tesla and SpaceX. They do so much damage to the earth. It was 80 Bryant. Oh, 80. At one point, I thought you were kind of funny, but now you're just lame. And it was a good lesson, because it was a lesson on assumptions, people. I assumed it would be Kate McKinnon, since she always does her little liberal political, let's make fun of conservatives, I'll be whatever political figure you want me to be face every time on SNL. It's very boring. She does the same thing every shtick. She comes out as somebody different. And I assumed it would be her. It was not her. She did it with guests, so props, I guess. Anyways, let's continue to go. But also, Daisy Barringer, a freelance writer and editor, says she hopes the Tesla CEO and SpaceX founder Elon Musk dies in a Tesla fire after his appearance on SNL. So, conservatives hated it. Liberals hated it. Who liked it? It was me, the politically homeless. The people who are like, hey, if it's funny, I'm going to laugh. But if it's not funny, I'm going to think it's stupid. And if you don't think it's funny, that's your opinion. And that's okay. And we can have different opinions, because that's how America's supposed to be, remember? We're not just in our two-party system. I'm conservative, I'm liberal, and so if it's SNL, I'm never going to laugh at it. But if it's Steven Crowder, I'll always laugh no matter what. It's so ridiculous. Just laugh. If something's funny, laugh. Don't be afraid. Hundreds of Palestinian rioters clashed with Israel police this morning on Temple Mount. Israel is pushing President Biden to refrain from involving the United States in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, saying Biden's meddling would likely make the situation worse. This just in, also, the public bomb shelters in Israel have just opened up in the south as Hamas military wing issues ultimatum. Israel must withdraw police forces from Al-Hasaq and Sheikh Jarrah by 6 p.m. today. Israel Army orders all combat units to get ready and prepare for escalation, according to the Israeli state broadcaster. Let's keep watching that and see what's going to happen. I've seen a lot of video, and it doesn't look good. I have seen Israeli police breaking into a mosque, and then I've seen whether it was justified or not, and then I've seen the Palestinian rioters throwing rocks at cars and going nuts. So, yay. We're back to normal, people. Emergency declaration issued for 17 states in wake of cyber attack on the Colonial Pipeline, shutting it down. I'm going to be doing a breakdown of this a little bit later because I think it's a major thing. You're going to see gas prices rise, especially in some of the southeastern states of the United States, and it's a very bad thing that ransomware, which is this ransomware and cyber attacks, happened on a pipeline, which you just like, what is going on with these? Do we not have a good enough infrastructure? Oh, right. No, we're more worried about putting charging ports along the highway and getting solar panels than actually doing that kind of infrastructure tech. Great. On Sunday, speaking on CNN, the State of the Union was host Jake Tapper. Jeff Zients, the White House COVID-19 response coordinator, insisted that the decision to pull Johnson & Johnson vaccine on hold had not a disastrous effect on the effort of Americans getting vaccinated, asserting his faith in the Federal Drug Administration, which we all have such faith in, and the Centers of Disease Control, two organizations that I highly recommend everyone follow everything they say. The FDA is the gold standard in the world, according to Jeff. And he said that FDA is constantly monitoring for safety, and doing a pause was the right thing. As he says, doing a pause on a vaccine builds confidence, and that people know that the FDA and CDC are monitoring. Yeah, you guys are doing a great job with your monitoring. He insisted the research showed that after a pause, I love it, the research showed. It's just like, experts say, the research says. What research, what experts, say their names, or else I won't believe you. The research showed after the pause that confidence overall in the vaccines increased after the pause, he says. No, it didn't, because I know it didn't within me. So what research? And I'm just an average person. When I saw all these things coming out about blood clots, and then they went, oh crap, we need to pull this vaccine, which was funny. I got a call like a week before that in my stake saying, hey, it's your time to get the vaccine. You're up next. And I said, click. and then immediately after that, they pulled the vaccine, and I was going to be in line to get the Johnson & Johnson. So, yay. That did not give me confidence, Jeff. So I don't know what you're saying, but maybe later on in life, as you because it seems like you pause and then you reopen way too fast. National Rifle Association, the NRA, easily one of the most hated institutions among liberals, as they, even where I work, some liberal lady was like, this guy walked in and he was wearing an NRA jacket, and he actually turned out to be a lovely human being. But I was really surprised by that jacket. Just like, okay, it's just the NRA. It's not like this terrorist organization stirring up controversy among the world. Like people are just nuts. People are crazy. National Rifle Association sparked backlash on Mother's Day as the organization commemorated the holiday by tweeting a photo of a mother and a daughter posing with rifles. Imagine the outcry. NRA posting about rifles? Ugh, let's get hysterical about that, because this is the time for hysteria. Speaking of hysteria, Bob Baffert announced that his 2021 Kentucky Derby winning horse, Medina Spirit, RIP, tested positive for having over double the illegal limit of the anti-inflammatory bechamethasone tested. Oh, great. Now our horses are drugged up. What is the world going to come to? Of course they are. Double the legal. Hey, you can have a little bit of crack in your horse, not the double the amount, okay? This methamphetamine is to be taken very seriously. And you need... PETA, where are you guys at on this one? Caitlyn Jenner comes out in support of the pathway to citizenship for California's illegal aliens. Duh. You think Caitlyn's just the staunch conservative that's like, I will shut down the border? Like, no. Caitlyn is seen in California as Hitler-esque conservative, like such a Nazi in the conservative, but yet in the normal mind, Caitlyn is more moderate. So, okay. SpaceX to launch satellite Doge 1 to the moon next year. The mission will be paid for in Dogecoin and will mark the first crypto in space and the first meme in space, according to Elon Musk. This guy, Elon, is totally leaning into this. He's like, it's just crazy. It's kind of market manipulation a little bit, and I feel like if it was like a real stock, like a Tesla stock or Costco or something, I think there's a legal bounds for doing this kind of stuff, so I think it's kind of funny that he doesn't care. North Korea announces in a government-run newspaper, which you can always call as credible, that it's making efforts to provide electricity, fertilizer, and other farming materials to the agriculture sector amid food shortages. You mean a communist dictatorship is struggling for people to eat? Yeah, but they have free healthcare, so that's cool. Starbucks is considering shutting down their Facebook page due to Starbucks employees being offended by hateful comments left on its post about Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, and climate change. No. So, I mean, when you get really political and you're just a stupid coffee company, that people are going to be outraged, and then there's going to be 13-year-old boys and girls that want to make fun of you online and tell you stupid names because you're just being ridiculous and just shut up and make coffee? Oh, no. You mean you're offended because you offended other people? Scott, if you're going to offend someone, be sure that you will also be offended. Like me. I know I get offended all the time. People send me DMs all the time talking about how ugly I am or how, like, I'm this or that. And I'm like, I don't care. I just don't care. 5 migrant girls under the age of 6. 5 migrant girls under the age of 6 abandoned overnight at the Texas Bank of the Rio Grande. Right. There's not a border crisis. There's nothing that you need to see here. It's all part of the plan. The suspect in Saturday's Times Square shooting that injured 3 people, including a 4-year-old girl identified as Farrakhan Muhammad, still remains at large. How does that happen? What is going on? That's such a weird story. When I was reading, I'm like, is this suspect associated? Or is it just some random dude that just shot a mom and a little girl? Like, who is this person? New York seems nice. 15 people shot and 5 killed in Chicago this Mother's Day weekend. On a Mother's Day weekend. Still 5 people killed and 15 shot. Hey, just another day. Speaking of another day and crazy, Mother's Day massacre as boyfriend shoots 6 dead at birthday party in Colorado Springs but spares sobbing kids' lives before turning the gun on himself. Okay, if people aren't ready for the mental health issues of some of these kids in today's culture that are coming through the ranks through everything that's going on in school and being told to shut up and put your mask on and stay away from each other, stay 6 feet apart, tell you can't hang out with your friends, you can't do it. Like, if people don't see that coming, you got another thing coming. Sorry. But we got to watch out for that. Sorry for that little Judas Priest moment. Serving soldiers warn French President Macron the survival of France is at stake after he made concessions to Islamicism in a second open letter published on Sunday. I've seen talks about civil war sparking up in France, so okay. The world is insane right now, and we are just watching it like a movie. Melinda Gates, speaking of movies, Melinda Gates met with divorce lawyers in 2019, it turns out, as she says, people familiar in documents reviewed by Wall Street Journal. Once concerned about her husband, Bill Gates' dealings with Jeffrey freaking Epstein, the convicted sex offender, and committed suicide in prison. Yeah, sure. Did not commit suicide. Did not kill himself. Committed suicide, didn't commit suicide. Well, we don't know. Jeffrey Epstein. I would probably have divorce papers too. You're hanging in with Jeffrey Epstein? I don't know who you are anymore. Golly. Trump jets out for Florida to spend the summer in his Bedminster golf course in New Jersey to escape the heat and plan for the 2024 election after saying Mother's Day goodbye to Melania and Barron at Mar-a-Lago. He's heating up. Actress Vivica Fox accuses Ivanka Trump of racism after president's daughter told her she was articulate on Celebrity Apprentice. Yes, don't you ever say I talk well, because that's racist. You're assuming I would not talk well because of how I look. God, that's the stupidest comment I've ever heard in my life. There are white people that when I hear them talk and they speak well, I go, wow, this person's really articulate. I would never think, this person looks this way. So normally I would assume they're dumb. It's like, I don't know. Let's give it a controversial figure. Jordan Peterson. When he talks, he's very articulate. Is that racist to say that? No, because he's a white guy. Oh my gosh. You can't just say comments anymore because there's a systematic racism behind that comment. 11 killed in Mother's Day bombing in Afghanistan 72 hours after the Taliban hold a 3-day ceasefire. So the Taliban continues to be Taliban. You can't stop it ever. Speaking of Taliban, Canadian pastor arrested for inciting people to attend church. That's totally normal. Arresting church-going members and especially their pastors, it's for your safety. People are nuts in today's world, seriously though. And today in history, in 1869, the Transcontinental Railroad is completed, unifying the United States of America. And that is the Derek O'Shea Show. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Derek O'Shea Show. I appreciate you guys so much. Please share this video with anyone and everyone you know. It's the only way we'll grow as a community and the only way I will grow. And I appreciate you guys to do that, step out and show your support that way. It's like giving me $1. It's like you're supporting me financially is by spreading the news of the Derek O'Shea Show. And I appreciate you guys to do that. Have a fantastic day. As always, I'll see you on the next episode of the Derek O'Shea Show.